And just like that, we're live. This is the Crowded
Oh, there we
Room
go.
podcast. Hank.
Okay.
Just
We got Hank.
we got Hank on drums.
Hank on the drums.
There we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live with the Crowded Room podcast. I'm Alex, and this is Jer.
Hello.
And that was Hank, just doing a drum solo for you there. Just trying to pour me a little sipperoo.
Hell yeah, it's been over a week since we've seen you guys.
Yeah, almost 2 weeks. We need this cat fuck right the fuck off.
Dude, Hank is very needy right now.
Yeah.
And, he will not leave us the fuck alone.
But yeah, State of the Union is in deep despair. I think that's honestly the goal they're going for. If they didn't want you to see all these things happening, they could easily just take people's Instagram and all their platforms down.
Absolutely. And that's what they're going to do next. Essentially,
No, they could have done it a week ago before all this happened, but they clearly want you to see this, and I believe that's just to kind of make you depressed.
Yeah, fair.
And make you feel like, oh, woe is me, I better bow down. I better not go to Ottawa and protest with them. That's what I think it is.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also think, up until today, I thought maybe they were just trying to scare people by calling a state of emergency or trying to.
Yeah, no, they've always been trying
Yeah.
to scare people, and it hasn't worked. You saw Justin Trudeau got laughed out of the debates, basically for asking. People asked him tough questions, and he just got up and left rather than answering. After he gave the same answer 3 times to 3 different questions.
The one guy asked him to apologize.
Right, he accused a Jewish lady of standing with swastika flags or something, and he embarrassed himself basically. And now, like, imagine a tough guy in high school who got embarrassed. What's he gonna do? He's going to lash out, and he's going to bring the biggest guns he can and point them right at you. And that's what they did.
That's what we're seeing today now.
And it's sad. It's really unfortunate, but I think the biggest thing is don't be intimidated. Don't feed into the fears, basically. And you'll see he has no more cards to play. Like what's the bully do after he does that? Like,
well, he made himself
nothing.
He made himself look really shitty today.
Really shitty. He makes Canada look shitty.
Died.
There's no such thing as a parliamentary process anymore when all you have to do is say the same fucking thing over and over again to get through the debate.
Yeah, he should actually have to answer questions because people ask him things, and he just that guy was like, "Will you apologize for saying that?" And he just starts talking about other things.
Yeah,
and like. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, he's like a robot, man. Like,
he's being told what to say.
Watching him makes my blood boil. Honestly.
And I really think that that's the point. That it's not just a consequence; it's the point. It's what they're going for. They want you to get upset. They want you to start burning stuff like Black Lives Matter or something. They want to make, because it's a lot easier to contain people that are violent than people that are peaceful.
Well, the way they ran through the crowd with horses. I mean, that's
hilarious.
That's gonna piss people off.
That's like an 18th century move or something. Like,
yeah, man, that's messed up.
Yeah, they literally killed a lady. Apparently,
I don't know.
Allegedly,
I haven't seen any real reports on it. Just
this should be the allegedly podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't prove that part.
Yeah,
but that being said, like regardless, if you watch the video, it's still unacceptable.
Yeah, well, it's being accepted. It's not like those cops are going to see a day in court, unless it's a Nuremberg court or something. Like, I don't see it coming anytime soon. But who's there to sue? What's there to what course is there to take for that lady's family?
I don't even know. It's just crazy because she was sitting there talking about like peace and love and stuff like that, and then boom, trampled. Like,
Yeah, and to say that it was someone else's fault to spook the horses, they were literally like, they rode the horse up to the crowd. The horses stopped because they're like, hey, there's people, and they like fucking yanked the reins, like, no, you go forward.
it looked like to me like they were just stomping through there. Everyone made way for them, and they just kept going. And like, I don't know, it didn't look like they even tried to stop to me.
Mhm.
But maybe I need to watch it again.
Yeah, and that's just it. This is all just what they want us to see. At the same time, they have the full power to take all these news pages down off of Instagram and stuff. They are arresting journalists, but they haven't taken any of these influencers, they're called. They haven't taken their pages down, and I think that's because they want us all to see this. They want us to see the force that they're putting out, so that we don't go out and join, so that they keep the people that are on the fence or back.
But it also makes them look really bad when they trample a protester.
It makes them look bad, and not just to us, to the entire world. It makes the people on that are over in France just go, they feel bad for us, when just 2 weeks ago we were feeling really bad for the people in Australia. We thought that we had it good.
Yeah, no shit.
We thought that they were the ones being oppressed horribly, and now like look at their protest is going just fine. The cops are like speaking nicely to them, and they did have some skirmishes. I think last week we saw.
Well, I've heard that Australia is opening back up or something. I saw a bunch
Oh.
of stuff that people were celebrating that Australia is opening back up.
Right. And then their president got allegedly accused of child trafficking, something like that. I saw in the news, and that just got brushed out from underneath. It got
And it always will.
settled out of court. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit.
Bullshit. But yeah, we got our first like. Thank you, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
I don't know who that is, but if you're watching, say hi in the comments.
Yeah.
See who's listening.
But regardless, we gotta try to do a show for the people that'll watch after the fact, after the live.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's just always nice to see who's tuned in.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, comment, like, and subscribe. We'll try to keep interactive today. There's not too much on the agenda, but it's not too much going on in the world right now that doesn't have to do with politics or social media right now.
After seeing that lady get trampled, I felt like I wanted to just do a podcast. Like, I don't know how much I have to say about it, but I felt like I needed to get up here and like,
I feel like I need to
something.
delete Instagram or something. Like, I need to stop feeding that into my brain, but then you're ignorant.
Mhm.
Then you're just kind of burying your head in the sand.
Well, yeah, like then you're uninformed instead of being misinformed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, to what extent is that going to make your quality of life better? Instantly, it's going to make your immediate life better, but I mean, in the long run, you're not going to know when the gun's pointed at you, and you're not going to know when to duck, kind of thing.
Yeah. Looks like we have a guest on our show today.
Do we?
This is Hank.
Dan Pill. Thank you, Dan.
Looks like Hank.
It's nice seeing you today. We got Hank here. He is really not accepting not being the center of attention today.
It's true.
My dang bangs won't sit down.
This is actually how he is all the fucking time. But usually during the podcast,
Yeah.
he leaves me alone.
That's good. He's gonna get older and he's gonna get even crankier. But what's he, 5 now?
I don't know, 5 or 6.
Yeah, because you just found him.
Every single day, I'm just like, yeah, I gotta cuddle you while I can. You're gonna be dead soon.
Yeah, well, my dog's 11 and fucking hop wants like pets, wants treats all the time. It's so energetic. You wouldn't think he's 11 at all.
Yeah, he's got some energy. Eh?
Yeah, well, we took him to the vet. I think this was 2 weeks ago almost, and everything's fine. He had some little growth on his neck. It seems to be fine. It's just a cyst or something like that. And we go through another couple things that was wrong with him, and one was he's kind of limping on one leg, so they gave us this anti-inflammatory painkiller thing, and he told us not to take him for a walk for 3 weeks so that he could heal. So now he's now he's just bored in the house. Yeah. And so he's got all his energy to like hop around, like, oh, I like seeing you. Are we gonna go out?
Jesus.
Yeah, no, he'll get up on his hind legs, and today he like hovered there for a second just to like look up on the counter, like, where's the food? Yeah.
Every time I come over, he's just whining. Yeah,
it gets worse when we have people over, kind of like Hank, like he doesn't like you paying attention to other things. Like if we have people over, that he's gonna just whine, like, oh, I'm here too.
If Hank could whine like that, he would.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would be whining the whole time we're doing this podcast.
And I don't mind, like when he has to pee or something, it's nice that he whines because he never pees on the floor because I know I have to get up and let him out, kind of thing. Whereas that other dog we had, you'd wake up and there's like a pile of shit on the floor. Yeah, like, okay.
You're gonna go to Burns Lake to see that dog tomorrow.
Yeah, going to visit my mother.
No, you're going there to cut the dog's nails. Just kidding. And visit your mother.
Visit my mother in Burns Lake.
Visit your mom. Yep. I think this weekend's family day or some shit.
Okay.
So may as well.
It's fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fitting. But yeah, are you excited for the drive to Burns Lake or what?
It's gonna snow tomorrow, apparently. Or else Sunday, one or the other.
Hank for all over me. Yeah, that sucks, man. We're almost through all this fucking snow. I hate it when it snows again when it's almost all melted. That's the worst.
And then we're gonna get like negative degrees again. It's just it's unappetizing. I don't like it. Yeah, but that's Canada. There's literally nowhere to go to get away from the snow. Like it's.
Yeah, but I mean, like Kelowna's not like that. Like Kamloops. Oh Jesus Christ!
That cat's gotta go,
dude. This fucking cat.
Yeah, but yeah, Kelowna and they're nice, but they're not exactly like tropical. Like
this is the Hank's Room podcast.
America's got like Hawaii to go to.
If you close that door, he'll just sit there and meow.
Fuck him. Let him meow. Let him eat cake.
Davey, if you're watching this, you need to open your door and let Hank
in
the room. Oh,
we got fuck off. Anyways.
Oh, that's life.
Yeah, going on a vacation, quick little out of towner, but we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, the State of the Union is absolutely abysmal. Canada's never been there's never been a sadder day, I don't think.
There's been sadder days, but this is a fucking Saturday.
As a whole,
not in our lifetime, maybe.
Like name it though, like what?
Dude, like during any war.
Yeah, what did they have to do with Canada?
What do you mean?
Like we went in support of them, but what did the wars have to do with?
Canadians fucking took Vimy Ridge, man. It would
in support of France, right?
Yeah, but still, Canadians fucking did it. We were like, we took the job essentially. We showed up. We're like, let's do it our way, and we fucking did it. So I mean, like, I don't know. Canadians played a big part, and we lost a lot of people too. And so I mean, I don't know. There's always tragedy, especially World War II when we sent all our guys.
To Juno Beach, yeah, but again, that's in support of France. Like,
still, I mean, like when the country's at war, like
it's a sad day. Yeah, but on Canadian soil, I've never been more let down. And again, that's what they're looking for, I think. So don't let it get you down. Imagine this is a bully that just fucking punches you. Yeah. Sure, it sucks, but how many other cards do they have? How long can they punch us?
Well, I was always taught to just walk away, but my country's keeping me here. I can't just walk away and go somewhere else.
Your country's literally locking you down. There's no option to walk away.
If I had the option to walk away, they wouldn't let me go. Like if I just had all the money, just move somewhere else, move to Europe or Texas or somewhere. Probably not Europe. They're not much.
Well, they wouldn't. You could go on a visa, but they'd kick you out after 6 months. And you'd have to come right back, right? You have to fully immigrate to another country.
Work visa, right?
Yeah, and that at the best 2 years.
That's still 2 years.
Yeah,
and then while you do that, that's when you apply for other shit. I'm friends with a lot of people who immigrated here. So
yeah,
so
in better times,
how it works. They had in way better times. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've been calling the U.S. Embassy to try and get my citizenship going, because I should be a dual citizen to America, and it's not much better, but at least there's some red states to go run and hide to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like at least every state's a little different there, and like kind of has its own like sovereignty.
Yeah, whereas like Canada, sure you can get different differences between provinces, but as a whole, not really.
Well, right now we're starting to see the slight differences, like the provinces that are choosing to open up right now. Like in Alberta, they just dropped the vaccine mandate completely. And
Really?
yeah, they did that like 2 weeks ago.
I thought it was until March.
They dropped it overnight. They like they have plans to remove like other restrictions, but they ditched the Vax Pass overnight.
Okay.
I think the mask mandates still apply in some areas.
I thought the masks were gone, but the mandates were still
no, it's the other way around.
Okay.
From my understanding, anyways. Maybe that's what I heard. Also, Saskatchewan's like that.
Right. It's odd that I'd still rather pursue American citizenship than move to Alberta. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just not that appealing to me. But if life is freer over there, then you might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never wanted to leave British Columbia. It's so resourceful. It's so secluded. We're in the mountains. We have skiing and we have farming and logging and fishing and stuff like that.
Here,
yeah. Whereas they just don't have that in other provinces so much. Maybe Ontario does have quite a bit of that, but we're coastal. We're hunting and stuff like that. There's lots of moose around here.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
It's a different lifestyle. Like you can have a completely different lifestyle here than you would in California or actually I guess you can still do a lot of those things here. It's just not the same. Like we're up north, it's colder up here,
It's seasonal up here.
Absolutely.
Like right now we don't get to do much.
But man, as far as like moving goes, it's like a sad day to think of a day like when I like not necessarily want to, but have to move out of BC.
It's called being a refugee.
Taking asylum.
Yeah.
and that would really suck if that happened.
And we like to sit here and say, oh, is this Stalin's Russia? Is this North Korea? It's actually a lot closer to Venezuela. If you look at how that went down, it's just a power grab after power grab. And then now if you're not a cop, you're nothing. Like they don't even use their own money. They use American money there.
Yeah. All their banks like closed down or something. Like you couldn't like pull money out or something.
Because no one uses their money. It's not worth anything.
Yeah.
So you go to the store and you have to pay with American money.
No one's fixed that yet, hey?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the reasons or anything. That's just the truth. Alan went there and that's what he was saying. Yeah. Yeah. No fun.
So what are we drinking today?
What do we got? I'm doing Gentleman Jack. We're sponsored today by Gentleman Jack.
Yeah, they
there we go.
They definitely approve our message.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got the Roe & Co. I picked it because of the bottle. It looked good.
Roe & Co. Irish whiskey.
Also, yeah, it's aged in bourbon casks. So that's one reason why I got it as well.
Right.
I thought that was interesting.
But yeah. If there's a Canada to speak of, we're going to bring it live shows to you, at least on Fridays here.
Hell yeah. Sorry we missed last Friday. Looks like most of our audience is like, fuck these guys now.
Why?
Well, I mean, normally we have more people on it.
Oh, and it's Friday and they're out doing stuff. It's a long weekend. They're fine.
I guess so, yeah.
We didn't really shout this one out much at all either, right?
No, we didn't. We didn't send this link to anybody. We just went for it.
And us being absent in the last couple Fridays, maybe they came looking for us then and then they don't see us. And now they're not going to come looking for us this Friday, right? It's consistency is a big part of it.
That's for sure. But we only missed last Friday, I think.
Yeah, that's another problem. I just don't remember, honestly.
We're going to try to be more consistent for you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. And I mean, last weekend we tried to go on live and it just did not work out very well.
Yeah, we've been having technical difficulties. It takes like 3 takes to like actually get a good stream. It keeps cutting us off and freezing. So,
but slowly but surely we're getting better and better. Yeah. As far as Prince George is going, I've seen tiny little protests around. Other than that, this is a pretty tame part of the world.
We had a couple pretty good trucker support protests.
Over by the school district thing, I saw one the other day. Yeah.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one, but like I know the whole CN Center parking.
Yeah,
lot
they
was
haven't been
full
doing
of
that one lately.
vehicles, and they went on a big freaking
honk
parade.
fest. Yeah,
honk fest. Yeah,
goose parade. Yeah, and I mean, good on them. Right on. I the problem with them being by the school district is I didn't know what they were exactly protesting. Was it the masks in schools or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but.
And I don't look at Facebook or all these forums, so I don't know when or where or anything. And again, that's burying your head in the sand, kind of. But I just can't do Facebook. It's blown itself out of proportion. It's the demographics like over 50 or something like that on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you imagine who's all on Facebook, like your parents, your goddamn aunt and uncle, right? And sure, everyone's still got their Facebook, but who's actually posting and who's like using it actively?
Dan says there were air horns on the highway and 15th for a couple hours.
First couple of hours.
Oh.
On the highway. What? Oh, you mean? Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, crazy. That's a pretty busy spot.
You could probably hear it for a bit. Yeah, I could hear it from my house. I went to have a nap around 4.
And there's just air horns going on.
All of a sudden, like literally my head hit the pillow and all of a sudden I hear honk, 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 honk. And I was just like, freedom. Yes. I wasn't mad at all. I was like, I don't need to have a nap. I'll stay awake for freedom.
There you go.
Yeah. That's how I supported the protest.
Right. Well, it's all about control, and they're only controlling the cowards. They're only controlling the ones that are afraid to stand up, and are willing to bow down. Honestly, okay, that cat is fucking around. Sorry. But yeah, it's not going to last forever. They just like a protester can only protest for so long. They can only beat that drum for so long until it doesn't. It's going to lose you an election in the long run because you'd sound like a one-trick pony. Right. Yeah. And you're seeing the conservative, not federally, but the provincial conservative parties are backing down from the mandates. And they're just they're not playing along with that same stuff anymore. And it's because we have elections coming up for provincial stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they're not going to give a fuck about the mandates now. That's going to be their thing. You want to go back to normal? Vote for us.
Yeah.
That'll be it.
Yeah. And then the second you vote for them, they're like, oh, we got 2 more years of free reign. Yeah. Totally. Basically. So we can just parrot what we've been told to parrot again. But it almost on a dime. They go from this is unacceptable to this has to change kind of thing. Like Doug Ford did it. The Saskatchewan did it overnight. They're now Saskatchewan's up and going for it. And BC is quiet as hell. BC doesn't do anything. But the one coincidence you see in all this is each of those provinces are towing the line. Like the Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta are Quebec. Always conservative, and Quebec's always contrarian kind of thing. Quebec always wants to be like against Canada and their own thing. How the fuck did that cap it? Oh my God, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, this is Hank's podcast. He just needs to be on the show tonight.
I'm upset about it, but I'm not going to let it bother me.
Yeah. Kind of leaving us. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So it's transparent that if BC came out and said no more mandates, there'd be riots, there'd be strikes down in Vancouver, and only Vancouver. And only Vancouver. Unfortunately, Vancouver sways the vote in absolutely everything because they have the most population.
I would like to think there wouldn't be like any big protests to bring back mandates. That'd be kind of stupid.
I've seen it.
I've seen this like 5, 6, 7, 8, reinstate the vax mandate. I was like, what the fuck? They're like, fuck freedom.
Yeah, and that was Saskatchewan after dropping everything, I'm pretty sure.
That?
Yeah.
Well, it was the fucking Karen Brigade, that's for sure.
Right. I saw Ontario had like a 1-day protest to come back from it. And literally, there was a guy with a sign that said, "Gas the unvaccinated."
Dude,
gas the like. Where do you get this from?
Right?
Where do you think these
That's
slogans
so
come
fucked
from?
up. That's so fucked up.
Everyone is satirically now outing Justin Trudeau as being completely like Hitler, like, and that was a joke before. we got our
virus.
We got our virus. Please don't click on that guy's name.
Yeah. Stanislaus Akinzova. Oh, he's Russian.
Thank you from Russia. Yeah.
Viruses. We're attracting.
We're big in
bots.
Russia. You guys don't even know.
We're attracting Russian bots and getting extra viewers.
If that Russian guy would just like and subscribe instead of sending us a bunch of goddamn viruses, that'd be nice.
That'd be awesome.
What are you looking for?
How do we get to the other setting for that? How do we get to the power setting? I think somehow the power got turned off for this fucking thing.
Oh, sorry, but this is horrible.
Go back. Yeah, there you go. Now go to the level. Yeah, it did get turned off.
Oh, that's why your level.
Hey, that's why I had to talk like right into it for it to even.
Okay.
Now it should be
good. Better. Ladies and gentlemen, we're figuring this out as well as you.
Figuring this out. Yeah.
That was Hank. That was all Hank's doing, I think.
Yeah. If anyone's listening, just let us know how we sound. Oh, hey, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Hey, wow. There we go.
I can sit here
too much
and kind of EQ as
there
you
we go. Yeah.
But anyways, this is horrible podcasting.
I was just like, Alex sounds way better than me. What the fuck? There's something wrong with my mic. But yeah, there we go. Now I can sit comfortably. I don't have to talk right into it. Much better.
The oddest thing is usually people are against communism. Usually like it's in our blood as North Americans even to fight communism, to at least like be disgusted by it.
You got to think some of these people have been like told that like if you don't get vaccinated you're an idiot, and then they believe that, and then all these late night talk shows just making fun of people taking ivermectin, horse goo, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just making fun of the truth this whole fucking time.
Yeah.
So there's people that are so out to lunch, man, and they support the vax mandates, and they think everyone that's not getting vaccinated is a fucking idiot or has something wrong with them. You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with that guy? Why wouldn't you just do it?
And a lot of them think they're doing the right thing, but then there's some of them that literally want communism. Like there's people flying a Russian flag through that pro-mandate protest.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I guess I guess they do, but they've been tricked into wanting it by the media. They've villainized our side of it. So now it's like people are embarrassed to be. Now you're a conspiracy theorist, right wing, racist, all these things.
And you listen to left wing politics, even in America. You listen to like AOC or anyone in California. They glorify communism. They say that capitalism is irreparable. Kind of, it's on the decline. And neither of us could sit here and debate whether or not it is, but I can sit here and tell you that people in communist countries are risking their lives to get to democratic countries. You don't see that the other way around.
That's for sure. And I think Oz says it best. He's like, capitalism may not be the best, but it's the best we have. Same with democracy. Democracy may not be the best, but it's the best thing we have.
And please make a suggestion of something better, right?
Exactly. It's the best we have right now. So we have to kind of make it work the best we can. But I think everything's just so tainted and corrupt right now that like, and it always has been. I shouldn't say right now, but like, it's just, this is why you stay off Facebook and whatnot. It's like, man, you get to that point where it's like, man, I should just go live my life and have fun and not worry about any of this. But then it's like, well, now it affects me. I can't go to a restaurant. I can't leave the country. I can't like go do things.
You're effectively a prisoner.
In Canada. I shouldn't have been allowed to go to my mom's wedding. I shouldn't have been allowed to go to her funeral even. That's fucked up.
That's really fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
Everyone is the prisoner. Whether or not you're enjoying the fact that you're a prisoner, you're still not allowed to leave just the same. Or you take the jab.
Yeah.
Then bow down and you're allowed to leave. Like at least North Koreans don't get that, so we can say we have that one up on them, right? Even if they're vaccinated, they still don't get to leave. But
I saw a meme with All the dictators calling each other, bro.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Oh wait, I got another call. It's like Kim Jong Un. He's like, bro.
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau. Not even I'm not that bad.
I saw that today. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's good shit.
It's good. It's sad.
It's sad too,
we're the laughing stock of the world right now, and we will be for decades to come. And no one's willing to fight. No one's willing to stand up. And to be honest, yeah, like we fought in World War I and World War II, but like I said, we were fighting for other countries. We've never fought for our own freedoms. We never fought for our independence.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
We were given our independence, from Britain in the 80s or
the
something.
The closest
right?
thing to that would be us fighting the United States and driving
in 1812. Yeah,
that'd be the closest thing.
It was a defense of ourselves. It wasn't an offense.
No, it was though, because they wanted to push the border up. They wanted to take our land.
Defended.
So we defended, and then we invaded them and burnt the White House down. To say fuck you, stay the fuck over here.
That wasn't us. That was England. We were England at that time.
Well, fair enough. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Right.
Yeah. I was just thinking, Canada as a country, when have we ever had to like fight? You know, otherwise someone's going to take our land. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, not really.
That was the closest thing.
Not really. And for people to think that like white people in general are part of the elite just because their skin is white, like that, maybe that was true like in the 1800s.
It's kind of like a racist statement in itself.
That's over and done with now. It's how much money do you have?
Money rules the fucking world.
Yeah. And so your skin color doesn't mean shit anymore. It's socioeconomic.
Dan says, we are schooled to obey and not argue. If you do you're different and bad. Oh yeah.
If you do, you are different and bad. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I was talking earlier, like how much of the Charter of Rights were you really taught in school? None. And I can't say because I did so much American school and I come back and forth and back. So I didn't do social studies every year. I don't know what I missed and what I got. I know that in America, we had a literal history class.
I failed social studies like every year until grade 10.
Me too, honestly.
Like I failed social studies 8 like 3 times, social studies 9 twice. I think social studies 10 I finally passed, and 11.
I just didn't give a shit in high school. It was so I don't want to say that like I was underwhelmed, but I didn't feel like I had to do the work. Like what was I getting out of that? I knew I wasn't going to go to university, so I just waited to the end of the year and I did what I had to do to pass, kind of thing. And some years that didn't work.
Cheers to that. That's normally what I did, and social studies, it did not work out most of the time.
And then they put me in one of those classrooms where they just did packet work. And that was even worse because you literally just like read, copy, read, copy, read, copy. At least social studies was like that, right? Yeah. Because they just ask, oh, what happened here? Oh, this is what happened. Okay, well, I just write down exactly what the textbook says, but like change a couple words, get a thesaurus out.
It's funny. I failed socials over and over again. And then after I got out of high school, I got really into history. And it turns out, the only problem was I just didn't give a fuck about the fur trade. So they shove that down your throat for so long, and it's the most boring part.
I found that
history
too,
that they could ever fucking teach you.
As soon as I got out of high school and I had like full reign of YouTube, because like growing up in Burns Lake, I didn't have a home computer. I didn't have access to the internet really, so I didn't. I until I was like out of high school, out on my own kind of thing with my own computer and internet and stuff, I didn't have full reign of YouTube. And then once I did, I found, I really like to learn. I like to learn what I'm interested in when I'm interested in. I didn't like to do it every second of the day.
Hell yeah. And when I first learned that about myself was actually in social studies class in socials 10 or 11 when we went over Napoleon. And all of a sudden I give a shit about what we're learning. And it's like I'm getting 100% on everything. The teacher's like, whoa, like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I actually care about this. I'm getting everything done, and and then we start going back to dumb shit again. And it's like, oh, this isn't interesting. And all of a sudden I just don't even do the work And if I do, it's just like just write down answers, just enough to get half marks, or
Yeah, like you look at my transcripts,
easy
it was
ones.
like D kind of thing, and then I got an A in drama and PE. That's about it. But
dude, that cat's going nuts.
that cat's gonna have to get fucking bent. Find something else to do today, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, can you hear him meowing?
Yeah, let us know if you can hear a cat
I'm gonna have
meowing
to
in the
wait till you
background,
get
because
going,
I mean,
'cause-
honestly, I doubt you can. If I just go like this, it's kind of hard to hear me. So maybe.
I can hear the cat very well.
Yeah, no, we can hear the cat, and he's an ornery cat, and I don't give a shit. Honestly, he was trying to step on our keyboard and stuff.
Yeah, he's a little fuckhead sometimes.
Yeah, I don't miss not having a cat, or I don't miss having a cat.
Yes, you do. You told me.
I don't, honestly. The hair.
You're like, I want a cat again.
I would love,
I don't know,
but I want a specific. I want a specific cat, an Oriental short-haired cat. Have you ever seen those?
Probably the short hair, like
their
not
ears.
The no hair.
They got like giant ears that stick way out, and they're pointy.
Big long noses.
The big long, the Ari Shafir cat.
And
you saw,
honk,
yeah, they're yeah. I want one of those so bad, dude. you have to like import one from Russia, basically. But
really,
because they got short hair, like that's why I love the short-haired pointer. My dog Rudy is a German short-haired pointer. He sheds, sure, but you don't notice it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I had the German Shepherd pup, you had to vacuum 2-3 times a day just so that you didn't see blonde little hairs everywhere that were like 3 inches long, and you had to empty the vacuum 3 times per session because the filter like clogs up with how much fur it was. It's upsetting, and it makes you feel like you're in like a dirty house, like you have dishes everywhere and you're just like not cleaning them.
Day.
Yeah, more than once a day too. Like
Jesus.
Now with Rudy, nothing. I'll let him jump on the couch when there's a blanket down. I still I don't vacuum more than twice a week, maybe. Yeah,
that's good. He's a nice little short hair.
Yeah, it's amazing how much difference the short-haired dogs are. And I don't really like the pit bulls. I like Natalie had a pit bull before. Mm-hmm. They're dumb. They're nice, but they're just stupid dogs, kind of thing. And
people
Rudy
get them for aesthetics.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like it's kind of like a cool thing to have a pit bull.
For our viewers that don't know, one time I pooped and the pit bull ate my poop and almost died.
And the dog almost died from eating a person's poop.
Oh, I should also say we were camping. That's why the poop was somewhere the dog could get
it.
We're camping.
That really matters.
We're roughing it. I wasn't just pooping outside for no reason.
That part of the story really matters. Yeah.
The dog goes in the backyard, so I go in the backyard.
Yeah, fucking dog. Dog doesn't know his own boundaries.
My fucking best friend.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But again, that was a pit bull.
That was dumbass pit bull.
That was, and I'm sure that some of them are smart, but that one was retarded. And but it had short hair too, right? Mm-hmm. So I will not get a long-haired animal again until I live like way out of town, and it can be an outside dog with its own like dog house or something. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
that makes sense, man. I would like to get a dog, but I need a place.
You need a place. Yeah.
Like a bigger place, I should say. Yeah.
Even our place is pretty small, but we have that giant off-leash dog park right next door to us. So it's acceptable. Uh-huh. Plus our dog's kind of old, so it doesn't need to be out all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so aside from all that,
aside from what
else is new this week?
This week, well, we had a giant going away party for Oz on Saturday.
Oz actually just left this morning.
Finally. Yeah, Oz left for Kelowna. If you don't know Oz, you can go back in our feed, I guess, and we did an interview with him. He's from Iran. He immigrated here. He's got an illustrious story. He's got a lot more story to tell us too, but unfortunately, he had to pack and he left this morning.
He left this morning.
Right.
That episode was our biggest one to date so far. People, not only were people like excited to hear what Oz had to say, but I think the random people that came across it found it interesting as well. You know, like there's 200 views on that, and like YouTube shows me the watch time, and it's a lot, man. Like more than a lot of the other videos. So that was a good episode, and I hope to do more interviews on this channel, and I know we will.
Yep.
Just like that, it's cool that we're kind of starting there, and now it's like, all right, what's next?
Yeah.
I already have a few people in mind, and
yeah,
can't wait to.
But I mean, it's very rare that you run into a guy like Oz when you live in Canada your whole life, kind of thing. And I know, like YouTube, not everyone's from Canada, even though I'm sure most, if not 90% of our audience is from Prince George alone too. But yeah, so you don't honestly get to run into a guy from Iran like that. Like I told you guys before, like most of us has never left our hometown. Like I don't consider myself, other than growing up a bit in America, none of us have even like done more than a vacation, and that doesn't count. Like we could go to Iran for a week. That doesn't show us what it's like to live in Iran and like work and like buy food and cook and like, right?
Yeah, it's true.
It's not the same thing for him. That's insane. That's a journey. That's a commitment. And I applaud him for it. And he really appreciates our friendship. And I just had to let him know, like, we are rich. Our experience is richer for knowing you.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate him being our friend and him wanting to share his story with us. Right.
Absolutely. And like he says, it goes both ways too. Like,
yeah,
he's learned so much since he's come here. Maybe not like useful information, but he's got to try new things and just learn the culture here and like see what we're all about in Prince George. And when I first met him, like he didn't like the taste of beer. Like he liked to drink a little, but he didn't like the taste of beer. Now he loves beer. He loves a good beer now. Like because we used to always go for lunch together. And he let me choose what he eats because he didn't know what was good, and now he knows. It's kind of cool to see him go through.
I can't imagine they have a ton of different beers over there, kind of thing, right? Like I
wouldn't know. Yeah,
but I mean,
the beer he had there wasn't good though, so he thought he didn't like beer until I was like, "Hey, try this."
The hotter the climate, the harder it is to keep your beer good without going bad. That's why the British had to invent IPAs. Because they occupied England, or not, England occupied India, and they would ship barrels of beer over there. But by the time it got there, the beer had gone bad.
I was gonna say, are you talking about
IPAs?
Indian Pale Ale, not Imperial Pale Ale.
No, Indian Pale Ale.
And that, yeah, exactly.
The idea was
hops
they had to hop it up just so that it would last the trip over to India.
It got to India,
and not get bad. Yeah. And then eventually people were like, oh, I like this better, kind of thing. Whereas initially they're like, oh, what the hell is this, kind of thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Fun little fact. Yeah. That I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I imagine the same thing kind of stands for Iran, whereas now they got refrigerators and stuff, right? But initially, like in the person's I want to say evolution, but you know what I mean? Like his ancestors didn't drink much beer. Mm-hmm. So he probably didn't like it much because of that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get him back on the show to find out.
Yeah, because there's a lot of British influence in Iran as well. The British went there and conquered the entire Middle East in the 1800s and rewrote the entire map, like redrew the borders and the map and all that stuff. They gave a part of Palestine to Israel, kind of thing. Yeah, and I'd really be interested as to what Oz's take on all that is.
Hell yeah, man! It's too bad we didn't get him back on earlier this week. That would be nice. I'm going to send the link to this, or send the link to our
out to Facebook.
Not to Facebook, no, just to a couple people.
Oh yeah, go ahead. It's already 45. We're already 45 minutes into this. Yeah. But yeah, that'd be an interesting follow-up. There's a lot of little interesting interviews that we can get into. If you guys have any suggestions, please go ahead and feel free to contribute to all this. But yeah, because like obviously we could get a lot of our friends on here, but if they're not much different than us, what interest are we really going to garner in it?
True that.
Yeah. Right. I mean, we could interview anybody, but
that's what I realized is like
Literally anyone.
All my friends have a story to tell, it seems.
Everyone does, yeah.
A pretty good story.
But I mean,
Oz is he traveled across the world to come here and had to learn a new language and all that. So I mean, I think everybody in Oz's position has a little bit crazier of a story to tell sometimes. That being said,
how much are you willing to sacrifice to make a new life for yourself? Are you willing to say goodbye to your family and friends and never see them again, other than like talking on Facebook,
to escape tyranny?
Well, there you go, right? But I don't see any of us doing it. I'm
sorry, Dan.
I'm actively.
Dan, I might have to leave one day, and I won't see you again.
Yeah, I'm personally,
and I won't be.
Actively trying to hit up the embassy, trying to hit up the border patrol and everything to look through it all, because since my mother was American versus if my father was, it's a big bonus. Like America looks at it a lot more serious when your mother's the American one.
Yeah, because it's easier to prove.
Yeah, anyone can say they're your father.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think I stand to gain a lot if I could look into my American citizenship, even if it's just the freedom to come and go at will. The problem is taxes. My uncles are all born in America, and they had to do a ton of weird tax things. That cat's got to go.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, give me a sec. Take over for a sec.
Yeah.
Do you need some ice?
Yeah, sure. Just bring a cup of ice up.
This room is fucking crowded. Did you know
it's just
that?
A little crowded.
Jesus. Yeah. 1 sec, boys.
So
and girls.
My family on my mother's side was all born in America, and my uncles have a lot of kids each, kind of thing. And they were saying that they have to jump through hoops to make sure that the IRS in America doesn't come after their kids, even because they're naturalized Americans. At birth, you're kind of given American citizenship if your parents were born in America. And they have an argument, I guess, that America can come after you for taxes, even if you live in Canada and work in Canada, kind of thing. So my uncles actually went through litigation to fight that. And I don't really know what I stand to gain, because I never had to do any of that. Even though I lived in America, I've never seen one letter from the IRS, kind of thing. But either way, I think it's going to be beneficial. I don't care about healthcare. I don't care about the abortion politics or anything. I want to be free to come and go, right? And I really don't see myself coming back to Canada anytime soon if this is the way that they like to act.
Just to visit, I guess. I don't know.
But who knows if I could leave after I visit, right? So it's
crazy, man.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's really scary. And the point that I was saying earlier is, don't allow yourself to fall into a pit of despair. Yeah. Don't allow yourself to be afraid. The British used to say, don't let the bastards see you bleed.
Yeah, totally.
And nowadays the British are saying, hey, don't call me he or something. But at one point it was a lot different.
Mm-hmm. Well, people were more badass back in the day,
and they had to be
willing to take risks.
They literally had to be. There was a point where they could have been speaking German, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Imagine growing up in our grandfather's time and having to go through World War II and shit.
Well, that's shit. My grandpa was about 5 years too young to do World War II, but he was in the Korean conflict in the 50s. Yeah. And that's still, he fought China in Korea because China was backing the North Koreans after they started losing. And that's fighting communism. He literally put his life on the line to fight communism. In the Navy, in the American Navy. And when he died, the Navy came up and offered him one of those flags folded into a triangle that gave it to my grandma, kind of thing. The actual,
what kind of flag?
An American flag.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The American Navy sent 2 representatives up to his funeral with this flag that it's tradition to fold it into a triangle kind of thing. And they presented it to my grandma.
Wow.
At his funeral. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy shit. And then my uncles never served because they were raised in America, even though they were born or raised in Canada, even though they were born in America. And it was just never a big priority in our family after that to serve. Mainly just because we weren't Canadian kind of thing, right? We were American.
Yeah, no one ever pushed me to serve or like tried to push me in that direction at all growing up. Like it's like we also like grew up thinking or like knowing that Canada didn't have much of a military and all that.
Well, and for the last couple generations, people just thought that freedom was won. Like our grandparents won freedom for us, and we get to celebrate. Like that period is about 10 years, and then you have to renew your subscription to freedom. And people forgot about that, and people think that you can just bitch and say like, no, I deserve this, or like you call me a fucking pronoun that I say you call me, kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
And it's unrealistic, and we're seeing the brunt of it right now. When leftist politics go way too far, you see that the left can be tyrannical just as easily as the right, because I believe that people called that Nazis the far right.
The Nazis were the left, were they not?
Okay, I believe like nowadays we consider them a far right extremist.
Nowadays, everybody that's a far right or that's right at all gets called a Nazi.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to associate.
It's funny because it was pretty sure it was the left before that was the actual Nazis.
Okay, I know like the left was the side of slavery, the Confederate flag. They were on the left, like.
Things have changed, I guess.
And they constantly flip flop, and you see now like it's
the Democrats created the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah. The whole Confederate flag and everything, that was the Democratic Party. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of it had nothing to do with slavery. A lot of it had to do with just regular old citizens wanting to own land, and like the Union didn't want to like let them own their land, kind of thing.
We just jumped up to 5 viewers, and we got Dwayne
That's awesome.
in here.
It's because of my story I was telling. No, it's because you posted on. I
may not have. Oh, Shay's on here. Tinfoil hats on, boys.
Hell yeah, brother.
That's what's up, Shay. Should I tell everyone about the time we saw aliens in your backyard? Hey, you better get your own damn tinfoil hat on for this one.
we could have an episode where we get people to call in and tell a story.
Shay,
that'd be nice.
Shay, you should call in and tell the fucking story. I'll put you on the fucking thing. Now.
But I mean, eventually make a segment of it where, like, on Tuesdays we do story time on Tuesdays or something like that.
Fuck yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah,
it sucks that it takes a minute to see your guys' comments. So
yeah, and it also takes a minute for the views and everything to kind of load in. So it's nothing to really go off of. Yeah, plus, in the long run, this podcast is going to last for years and years. We don't want to act like we're just kind of streaming video games kind of thing. And oh, thank you for the $5, Shay.
Shout out Shay for the $5 donation.
Yeah, I know it's you donated in your spirit. Thank you.
I'll die knowing that you witnessed it. Yes, I did, Shay. We saw some fucking aliens. We did.
Mm-hmm.
If we get 5 likes on this page or on this stream, I'll tell the alien story. We're at 2 likes.
Do a handstand.
At 5 likes, you get an alien story.
Yeah. What does this
real
one do?
Alien story.
Woo! I did it right.
Oh, you got the right one.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that could be a nice segment for us. I'd really like to get into like a radio show kind of thing where we have like a queue of people that have a topic to talk about, and then they go, oh, what do you think about blah blah blah, and then we'll sit here and talk about blah blah blah. But eventually, we just gotta hammer out some little wrinkles here and there.
Dude, we're up to 4 likes. One more like.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Share that shit. Get your friends to hit the like button, and I'll tell a good alien story.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really sad to see what's going on today. Like, apparently in Ukraine, a kindergarten building got bombed from Russia. They say that a Russian missile hit a kindergarten building, and then a lot of people are like, "Yeah, that's a false flag event." Who the hell knows, other than a bunch of fucking dead kindergartners? But
Jesus,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Or live kindergartners that got fake bombed, right? But This is where the tinfoil hats come on.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we're at 5 Lakes, and it's time for a fucking alien story.
Yeah, but you see, Vladimir Putin came out onto the microphone and said, like, "Hey, we don't want this, but I mean, we have way more nukes than any of you guys. So what are you doing here?" And Biden keeps coming out, and even though the situation is falling, Biden's like, "Nope, he says, I swear that this is going to happen. That Russia is going to invade Ukraine." It's really sad. It's a
Let's hope for the best, because honestly,
it's dirty politics, because the Ukraine is super American backed, so they know that anyone that's going to do anything is America, kind of thing, kind of like Israel. Anyone that wants to fuck with Israel knows that America's coming for you next.
But why are they backed by America? Well,
I see. I don't know exactly the reason, but basically because they used to be Russia, and then they seceded from Russia, and then instead of going back to the communist, America's like, no. You're democratic. Everyone likes democratic people.
I'll tell you exactly why. First of all, Dan, I'll get to the alien story. You guys are getting an alien story.
Yeah.
We just have to finish this.
We'll get there.
So the reason why Ukraine is like, backed by America now is because I'd say 7 years ago or so, 6 years ago, I remember on CBC radio at the time, they played the phone call of some American officials, like basically talking about the person that was going to win the election, the Ukrainian election.
Yeah.
They're talking about their guy winning because they literally rigged the election so that an American, like their dude, would win.
Right.
And when that happened, instantly Russia invaded and took over Crimea. And they're like,
oh, okay. But
like,
this is from way before. This is from like the fall of Soviet Russia.
I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is before that moment, whoever was in charge of Ukraine all the time, like didn't matter who, they were working for Russia, and they were selling their gas to Russia, and everything was working fine there. And then the United States infiltrated their government and fucked everything up.
Yeah.
And it's like they're instigating this. So they got their own guy in power there. And now, now they're making decisions based on what America wants, not what Russia wants. And now Russia's pissed.
Russia's pissed. Honestly, Ukraine used to be a nuclear power. Too, like they used to have nukes, and they gave their nukes to Russia under the guise of, hey, don't fucking invade us. And they accepted the nuke, said yeah, and then now they're like it's like a tongue-in-cheek thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where they already tried. They took over the Crimea and stuff. And it's World War III on like the verge of collapse, kind of thing. And it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be it's not just going to be over there. Like they can send stuff over here real easy, kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And we live, like, if they were to attack this side of Canada, if anyone were to attack this side of Canada, we live in a really shitty spot. Like they would attack here. I know Prince George doesn't seem important, but like all the rivers and highways cross right here.
They could. It's
they
a
could
hub.
Fuck up
yeah.
Serious shit by bombing Prince George.
I think they would go for Vancouver over us easily, just because of they get more deaths, more kills.
In World War II, we were considered like a serious target.
Yeah, well, because they have to get to the coast to launch their Navy ships and stuff like that. Yeah, I get it.
Fair enough.
But I think somewhere like San Diego, somewhere like Vancouver is going to be a little more of a hot spot, just because they're gonna get the kills. They're gonna make a big splash.
If you're trying to kill the most amount of people,
yeah.
If you're trying to be strategic and cut off like
well, and we don't really like, I don't know, but we don't have a Navy base up here. We don't have an Army base up here, right? Like as far as I know, the Army base is in Edmonton.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
You
where
have an Army base beside your house, pretty much.
The Rocky Mountain Rangers.
the
weekend, what's it called?
The local militia.
Yeah, where you sign up for the weekend, you serve on the weekends, kind of thing.
It's actually on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay. Reserves. That's what the Army Reserves.
Sorry, Nate. Shouldn't have moved to Granola Land, Vancouver.
Yeah, that's enough of Nate. We'll be seeing you, Nate.
All right, guys, you deserve a fucking alien story.
You got an alien story for him?
Give us the 5 likes.
Give us what you got, big boy.
All right, so we're talking like probably 7 years ago or so, probably around that time.
Fuck me, that's
There was a meteor shower, and Shay and I used to hang out all the time, and it's like, hey, let's watch the fucking meteor shower. It's like, all right, we're gonna get baked, smoke some doobies. So we're in his backyard, just leaned against his car, looking up, smoking doobies. And 10 years ago, Shay says, damn, I wouldn't doubt it. Anyways, so occasional fucking meteor and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, these like 3 triangles in like a nice like triangle formation like flew over top of us, and they looked like camouflaged, like, you know, when something looks invisible on a movie, like it's invisible but you can still see it. That's what these look like. And they flew across the fucking sky, and they went all the way to the horizon, like really fast too. And when they hit the horizon, they just went in like a line of light, like in different directions, and they were gone. And Shay and I, like the first thing I could think of was like, no one's gonna fucking believe this. You know, it's just like, we're those crazy guys now that go around talking about how we saw aliens. Like,
yeah,
fuck.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy.
And then when we told people, they're like, oh, well, how much drugs did you do? Like, what did you smoke? But we saw, like, both of us saw these 3 triangles, and they were like the color of the sky, and they hovered right over us. They're big too. They weren't like super low, but they were big enough you could really see them. And yeah, so that's the
your story.
Story, man. But it's real.
I get it. I believe you. I'll believe that story.
And we're down to 2 viewers now. So
thank you for telling that fucking story, Jared.
Should have saved it for the very end of the podcast. Keep y'all here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't honestly, like, I've seen a couple lights do a right turn in the sky or something, but I don't honestly have a story. Hey,
we got Oz here.
He says he made it. What, you made it to Cologne, Oz?
Hey, fuck yeah, but he did. Oz, your ears must have been burning because we were just talking about you a little while ago.
Telling stories about the homeland.
Just talking shit.
Talking some mad shit. And that'd be we could do like a phone interview, kind of like we did before. When it plays through this, like it's just as well almost. Absolutely, yeah. It does sound a little radio stationy.
If anyone wants to call in, we can put you on.
Right. Oz, we were talking about the British influence in Iran and what you knew about that kind of thing. Like in the 1800s, how they kind of had the whole Middle East under rule, as they had guns and everyone was in the Stone Age almost back then. But yeah, just kind of what you grew up knowing of that influence and stuff, if any, because I know Iran is another dictatorship right now. Like it's kind of under their thumb.
Hell yeah. Yeah, next time you come back for the weekend, we'll get you on the podcast right
away. Does he plan on coming back often or what?
I just told him it's not very far away, so you can come back for the weekends.
Oh, it's pretty far awy. Like it's a full day's driving.
Yeah, I mean, on a long weekend, it wouldn't be so bad. Like right now.
Yeah, but yeah, it's odd because I imagine I want to find the similarities between like that British influence and Canada's British influence, which is like 100% basically. Like I said, we never fought for our rights, and that's why America is a lot more disturbed by what's going on here right now than we are. Even like you don't hear us kind of standing up for ourselves, but you see people in New York or at the Canadian embassy kind of protesting, and it's because they're goddamn ants. It's in their blood to get pissed off. For people to tell them what to do, for people to tell them like how to live their life. And they stood up and they fought them off in 1776. And that was a militia. It wasn't an army. That was just people saying, hey, frig off.
That's right. An activity.
Yeah.
Dan saying Melinda's birthday in the backyard. Do you? I'm thinking he means, do you remember? We saw some anomalies in the sky that night as well. Actually, one of the craziest things I've ever seen in the sky. A little bit crazier than what I saw with you, Shay. This one actually took the cake, but I was really fucked up. So like I have a hard time remembering like exactly what it was. But imagine like the northern lights concentrated into like a ball, like just coming out of nowhere, just like a big fireball in the sky, big blue starry fireball. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. Maybe your memory is better than I am, or better than mine is.
I could what? Okay.
I could.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be interesting, right? And like I said, any of you guys got a suggestion, any of you guys that live in town here would like to come in and do an interview, let us know. But just please be ready to talk. Don't come here and go and do bong hoots.
Yeah, don't
and
do
fucking,
it Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
All right, Shay, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Shay's taking off. Right
Yeah.
on, Shay. Thank you for showing up.
Buddy. God, Oz, I'd love to talk to you people again. What do you mean, you people, Oz?
Yeah, what are you
That's
trying to
racist.
say here, Oz?
You're gonna get canceled talking
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. We'll figure out Skype or something like that. We'll figure out our thing, because apparently you got to like pay for a membership on Skype if you want to do
like higher quality calls.
If you want to do like streaming or something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That's something to look into. But as far as it is, we could call you up on the phone right now, Oz, if you have a FaceTime, and put you up.
Yep.
But yeah. So far, the world is an abysmal place. Oz thinks that we're overreacting to stuff like this. I think that I think that the world is burning. I think that I need to get out of Canada faster than a North Korean with a fucking baby or something. Like
I think that video of the protesters getting trampled today is going to change some minds.
Killed and
possibly killed, possibly killed. We don't know if that's true. But
lady with a walker got knocked over by a fucking Clydesdale.
That's all you need to know. That alone is wrong. And not only that, there was another guy as well. Both boom, boom, and like literally just standing there. They tried to make room. They literally tried to make room for the horses and then got trampled.
And horses aren't fucking murderous. Like, they don't want to kill people. It's the person controlling the horse that's killing people.
Absolutely.
And the reason they're using the horses because them as a person isn't enough to deter you. They need to go, hey, like, look at me, I'm big and tough.
Brought in the cavalry.
Basically brought in the cavalry. This is 1700 shit. Like mother, hold the line. That's why they keep shouting this. Hold the line. Like it's history.
Yeah, but
repeating itself.
I think this situation is like, I know it sounds weird, but it's like better for us because now, like, I know people that are like against the truckers that are speaking out now. They're like, well, like, yeah, this sucks, but also cops shouldn't be running over protesters with horses. They're starting to realize, like, okay, this isn't that important that you need to hurt people.
Yeah,
like, you know.
Shay, you shouldn't be buying drugs off a horse, bro. Yeah.
The video was horrible. It was. Honestly.
Keep out of those back alley stables.
Yeah, several people told me, they're like, man, that's hard to watch.
Yeah, well, it's hard to watch because we grew up thinking that Canada was the freest place in the world.
Hell yeah, I've seen people get hurt on the internet a lot. It doesn't bother me. It's like, wow, that's in Ottawa. Like, I've walked around in the exact place that all that's happening, and like
the veils being lifted from our eyes.
When I was walking around in downtown Ottawa, that felt like the most Canadian place I had ever been to.
Right.
Like, there's something about it. It's like, this is the heart of Canada. It's not just because it's the capital. It's like, it feels that way when you're downtown. Like,
yeah. It's the heart of Canadian politics. And then you go internationally and you're pretty proud to call yourself Canadian kind of thing. Like,
there was a time, like, especially during like the Iraq war, like just after 9/11 and all that, the weapons of mass destruction failed, all that. Man, like, Americans were putting Canadian flags on their backpacks
just so they didn't get
harassed.
Yeah.
When they went overseas, that's crazy.
That's crazy. That's, it's sad to see, but the tables have friggin' turned. And the truth is, no matter what, in any country, you have to fight for your freedoms. We knew that like 100 years ago, and we thought that our parents did enough. We could glide to safety and retire free.
Yeah.
It's not the case. You have to fight for your freedoms. Every generation has to stand up and say no.
Sorry, Cass tripped me out there. She said we were all choppy and couldn't hear us well or whatever.
Oh, maybe that's.
But she said false alarm. We're good.
That's just you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your internet farted, Cassandra. You're
go
good to
go swab your ears.
Go clean your damn ears out. You know the thing.
But yeah, it's sad to see. And it's sad that America is like almost, not America, but Biden's almost asking for World War III. Like, Putin came out, he's like, we don't want this. Like, like, it's going to happen, and we're not scared because we have more nukes than anyone else, but we don't actually want that. And Biden's like, yeah, this is going to happen. I'm sure this is going to happen, kind of thing.
Yeah, man.
Ukraine's literally putting guns in 5-year-olds' hands, showing them how to load a clip. Load a magazine, sorry. But yeah.
Well, I mean, they're right next door to Russia. That's probably a normal Russian thing.
No, well, it's not normal to do it to 5-year-olds. No. And like old ladies and stuff, they just don't have the soldiers. They need to do it to anyone willing to pull a trigger.
Would you teach your 5-year-old how to
if I lived in Ukraine?
What if you lived in Texas?
Well, yeah, you got to do that.
What
if you live in Texas
here?
No, you're not allowed to do any of that stuff here.
You're not allowed to do that stuff here?
No, not growing up in Burns Lake, we shot a lot of guns, kind of thing. But they were hunting rifles.
Yeah, and that's all you'll ever get here.
They weren't assault rifles. They weren't handguns.
Yeah.
Right? Which a hunting rifle is not going to help you. This isn't. This isn't 100 years ago kind of thing. Like, yeah, I get it.
The Mosins will fucking go through anything.
Right.
So, I mean, like, if we all had Mosins and just fucking.
Well, no, there's the story of I think it was Norway in World War II held off the Russians, like, and with like 20% of their army, they held off the Russians for a long ass, and all they had was single shot bolt action rifles. But they were just such good shots. They made them count. They actually held them off for a while. I don't know if they won or not, but that's a World War II story. I heard that the hunting rifles actually worked.
Shay says his kids have shot. He's like mine have shot at first.
Mine have shot.
What's he talking about?
Mine have shot.
Because
but hunting rifles.
A minute later after he sends it, right? It's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, growing up in America, like we were in the desert, so you could just go out to the middle of nowhere and shoot. But I remember like holding handguns, and like when I was a kid, I like held it wrong and like burnt my hand with gunpowder kind of thing. Because you think that you're like John Wayne, kind of chi or something, and you got to hold low. You don't fucking hold high by the revolver.
I would have loved to have been John Wayne.
Right.
I would have loved to do that as a kid.
But yeah, we shot handguns as a kid in America.
Yeah.
Right. You don't do that here.
Handguns are a lot more popular down there. Well, I mean, they can be. They're actually legal.
Because it's a right. Up here, it's a privilege.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot more accepted to show your kid how to do that kind of thing. Plus, how many people, like, we're allowed semi-automatic assault rifles? Not really. They're still hunting rifles with a fucking 3-power scope on them.
Yeah.
But how many people have them? Right? Have you ever seen anyone else have them? Like, yeah.
Very few. Well, not in person, yeah.
Allegedly.
Cass says we're all good. Sounds good.
Hey, thanks, Cass.
Thanks, Cass. Our sound check.
Yeah. If you're just joining us now on the goddamn Crowded Room podcast, thank you very much. We're talking tinfoil hat conspiracies, Ukraine and Russia,
anti-vax,
World War III kind of shit. Russia does not seem scared to pull the trigger on a nuke. If anyone has like failed to check the scoreboard, there's only one country that's ever dropped a fucking nuke, and that's America. And they've never been retaliated on, which would be completely condoned. Like, if you get punched, like, no one's gonna blame you for punching someone back.
But what makes you think that Russia would want to nuke us?
Because we're backing Ukraine.
Yeah, they're gonna nuke us over that, though. Like, what makes you think that they want to just, like, they're so easy to throw the nuke around?
Oh, no. They're not going to nuke. They're not going to nuke America. They're going to nuke American troops in Ukraine, and then America's going to get pissed and come over and nuke Russia.
What's the point in that? Because they want stuff out of Ukraine, like just destroy Ukraine. Destroy Ukraine.
These are topics for an actual political scientist to discuss, right? But what I think is it's a fucking bravado show where they're going to puff their chest out and go, "Oh, you think you're tough?" kind of thing. Like, otherwise, why the hell would America give one shit? Or why would Biden say anything about it? Like, go ahead and blow each other up. We're way over here. We're perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, man.
But no, it's a stupid little politics. Everyone's got their toes dipped in everyone's pool.
Well, before they used to cause wars so they could sell ammunition and weapons and make money off.
No one's gonna buy shit once they drop a nuke.
Now they're more into
world economy is done.
Now they're more into selling or into starting pandemics and selling vaccines.
This World War III is going to last about 2 months, and then there's going to be no more fucking world to go to war. World War IV is going to be fought with sticks and stones.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you beat me to it.
Yeah,
it's true. World War III will be fucked, which is why I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Ukraine sucks, man. I mean, that's a shitty situation. It's like, leave Russia the fuck alone. Like, let them in Ukraine do what they've always done. But it's too late for that. They've already America's already infiltrated Ukraine's government years ago, and now they have American interests, not Russian interests. And Russia still has assets in Ukraine, I believe, which is why they won't let it go. That's my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. And honestly, Ukraine used to be Russia, and they only want to expand. No one wants to get smaller.
Yeah, they should just join Russia.
Yeah.
Solve the problem.
Yeah, Russia, Soviet Union used to be a lot bigger. Like, I think Norway and all those places used to be part of Russia.
Yeah. Was Norway?
Yeah, I think those like northern Scandinavian countries, they all used to be part of Russia.
I know Ukraine was like part of the
Finland,
Soviet
stuff like
Union.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, that all used to be Russia, kind of thing. And the big thing here, I think, is they want the world to be communist. America wants the world to be democratic, and you can't lose an inch. That's why there's a North and South Korea right now. They didn't want to lose an inch. The same thing happened in Vietnam, except America lost, and that's why there's no North and South Vietnam right now.
Well, I think socialism is on the rise. The idea of socialism is on the rise in the States right now. A lot of people, like these liberals, they're liberals, but really like
and when you say socialism, you mean communism.
I mean, well, Marxism, right? Like
sure.
It's just it's
the idea that wealth should be shared.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
In theory, it's perfect. It's a utopia. But in practice, it's horrible. You've seen what happens in practice. The people in the top keep all this stuff. They keep all the money.
And that's why it's Marxism, because Marxism is like socialism under the guise of communism, right? So it's like, oh no, don't worry, the government's going to pay for everything. And it's like, and then it turns out to be communism. And it's like, but we also control everything. So fuck you.
Right. And when you're going to get paid anyways, nobody goes to work. And when they do go to work, nobody actually works, because you're going to get the same amount of stuff no matter what.
Yeah, no shit.
Right. So it's flawed, but there's no better way than to hope for a democratic process and getting paid for what you put in. There's no such thing as equality of input, right? Everyone wants equality of outcome, but there's no equality of input. Everyone's going to put in different varying levels.
Everyone wants the same outcome though.
Yeah, but that's impossible. And then the people that aren't going to, you're never going to have a Bill Gates. You're never going to have an Elon Musk.
Because no one's pushing themselves.
No one's going to work that hard if they're just going to get the same as everyone else.
The chances of having those people emerge are very low.
Right. And look at how many of them come out of China. How many of them come out of Russia? None of them.
But, we do live in a time with like the most child geniuses we've ever seen. And I feel like I've seen a lot as kids like pop up here and there. It'll be cool to see what these kids do once they're actually adults and start like running businesses and shit like that.
But you say seen, that's just because we have the most media we've ever seen. That's because we have the internet now. They could have been those many kids that you just never saw because there's no way for you to ever see them.
Maybe, but I just feel like we have more kids that are like going to college while they're like 12 now, because they're like,
and the level of education is getting bigger and bigger. If you can see farther, it's because you stood on the shoulders of giants that came before you. That was the Isaac Newton thing. So and that's just saying that the next generation is going to see farther than you, and the next generation is going to see farther than them. Yeah.
And think about the amount of information we get taught just in elementary school compared to what people got taught even just 100 years ago. Like I remember learning things in elementary school that my parents didn't know. They were never taught. And they, they went to school in what, like the 70s or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw in that game show, like people were dumb as hell. Just the general population, dumb as hell in the 70s, right? Like, I mean, I get it. There were geniuses that lived before the 70s too, but the general population was not very educated. Like,
and that doesn't mean they're dumb. It just means they were uneducated. Like they didn't get access to the same knowledge as us, like when they were growing up. And some of these people, we're watching a compilation of
game shows from the 70s,
like Newlyweds and all that, but it was like specifically like the dumbest answers,
and they'd ask them simple questions to get like the stupidest, like people didn't know what decade meant.
The one girl didn't know what a rodent was.
Yeah, that's true. Like she'd name a type of rodent, she's like
and then she started naming fruits, didn't she? Like fruits and vegetables or something. That was funny.
Yeah.
The United States used nukes. Hiroshima. Yep.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
That's the only country.
One was uranium, one was plutonium. And it was really just a big science experiment to see what would happen if we dropped those things. And they didn't know before. And now we know, like, it's not just the nuke. It's not just the giant fireball coming from the sky and shattering everything. Then you have the radiation that lasts for at least one generation. Anyone that was pregnant at the time, that baby's fucked. Yeah. Luckily, 2-3 generations down the road, we're not seeing the same genetic disformations, kind of mutations in Japanese babies anymore. But anyone that was alive at that time, or even in gestation, like you were screwed over horribly. And it wasn't all like mutations. A lot of it was like 3rd-degree burns just from the radio waves kind of burning you.
People had their skin melted and shit. Their
right.
Eyes melted shut and stuff. And the last thing they saw was like a big flash, and then all of a sudden they wake up, they're burnt, they can't see, and they have to just like.
And not only that, but you are then outputting radiation. So then you run home thinking that like, oh, I need shelter, and you poison your whole family. Oh, yeah. Kind of, you're like a leper kind of thing. So not only that, then you live the next 10, 20 years of your life being stigmatized as like, hey, stay away from me. You could still give me radiation poisoning kind of thing. When that wasn't true after like 1 or 2 years, but that still you're stigmatized. You're outcasted.
Shay says Bikini Atoll was the testing site. I never knew that. I don't know what that
testing
is.
site.
He might just be trolling me. What's Bikini Atoll?
I don't know. I know they did a lot of testing in Nevada.
Yeah.
Right. And Russia is the one who actually dropped the biggest bomb in history, the Tsar bomb.
Seen footage of the nuke like stripped.
They have footage.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah. It almost dropped the plane. The plane that dropped the bomb. It almost made that plane crash. Because they couldn't get away fast enough. And that was only 50% of the actual theory bomb that they were trying to create. Jesus. They made a half-power bomb for the test. They dropped it in like the northern Arctic or whatever. I forget what that was. This was in like the 50s, 60s. Called the Tsar bomb, if you want to look it up on YouTube. And that was like 3,000 times what happened in Hiroshima.
Jesus.
Something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that basically sitting around the world right now is enough nukes to kill the world 9 times over.
I bet, man. It looked like a fucking apple after you've eaten it.
And the country that made the most of them doesn't even exist anymore, Soviet Russia. And they don't even have a full account of where all those bombs are.
Oh, Jesus.
America does have a pretty good account of where those bombs are, of their bombs. But Soviet Russia, it doesn't exist. So like a lot of their files aren't around. Russia today can't tell you where every one of their bombs they made are.
You know what's crazy is United States, like were they not getting invaded? That's why they sent those nukes, right? They were getting invaded, and shit was going down. So they sent those nukes, and then the Japanese retreated. That's why they used 2. They sent 1. And they kept going, and they sent the 2nd, and then the Japanese started retreating.
I don't think they were getting invaded. Pearl Harbor got bombed from the Japanese, which got America.
That's what was happening. Pearl Harbor was getting
before
bombed.
That, America wasn't part of the World War II at all.
But when
that got them into it,
when that happened, the United States were just like, okay, well, we're just gonna fucking
basically. Japan was never going to secede. They were going to fight until every Japanese person was dead, which meant that millions and millions of people were going to die. And they crunched some numbers and said, hey, if we just drop this bomb, yeah, people are going to die, but it's going to save millions and millions of lives in the long run.
Yeah, true that.
And that's what they did. And they didn't know the repercussions of radiation and stuff like that. And for even Canada, they rounded up Japanese people and put them in concentration just because they feared retaliation.
It happened here and in the States.
Yeah.
They put people or Japanese people in concentration
and
camps.
They were fully law-abiding
like
Japanese people that were Canadian citizens.
They don't like to talk about that.
They don't like to even mention that.
Never happened.
I'm going to take my shit off.
Could take your shit off. Oh, I see. Yeah, man. Also, like things like Agent Orange, like that did a very similar thing. Like that fucked people up and their kids and their grandkids.
That was Vietnam.
I know. Different war, but I'm just saying something that like happened through the military. It's just like they use this weapon that like
they didn't fully know, and it's almost like these are just science experiments. They're like, oh, sure.
But
these guys.
Fact that, like, imagine if the States like nuked Japan, and then the States had to deal with a bunch of radiation as well. It's like the people that were using Agent Orange, like, were the victims as well, not just the people that they were spraying it on. You know, like it's fucked up. Rugged Man always talks about that. That's actually
because his dad was a veteran.
Yeah, and he came in contact with it, and then 2 of his kids were born all fucked up. And Rugged Man's lucky that his kids don't have complications.
My grandpa was left impotent from the war. That's why my parents, my mom and uncles, were adopted.
Oh yeah,
because he was sharing a bunk with a guy who had scarlet fever, and he could tell, like, the next morning he woke up, he could tell he was sick, and apparently, that scarlet fever leaves you impotent.
Jesus.
In the long run, who knows?
My great grandpa, he fought in Vimy Ridge, and at one point he got hit in the hip with a bullet. I don't know what kind, but there was a German fellow who got fucked up as well. I think his leg or something was shot, and they were both just laying there like after the fact, and they're just like, well, it ain't worth it. Like we're over this shit. Like, and they helped each other get back to safety.
Okay,
that's pretty crazy. But yeah, my great grandfather fought in Vimy Ridge there.
On your mother's side?
On my mother's side, yeah. And after that he was done fighting, but he got shot in the hip, right?
Yeah. Like, you can't really walk around after that, especially back then when medicine was horrible. They were chopping people's legs off.
But it's like, man, after you've been hit with a bullet, it's like the war's over for you. And it's like, same with that German guy. At that point, there's no, well, for sure, but it's more just like that him and that German guy, there was no more beef at that point. It's like after you fight someone, like a fist fight, and you're all tired and stuff, and it's like, all right, and you shake their hand or whatever. It's like you've let it all out. You know,
that's Canadians and Germans, not like a Jew and a German. That's a little different, right? The beef doesn't die right there.
I mean, the Canadians got brought in specifically to fight them, so I mean, they were the enemy, but it's just cool how they could drop that. And and then my grandpa, he joined the Air Force when he was younger, and he told me they used to strap him to the wing because he was a photographer. They'd strap him to the wing, and he'd take pictures. As a kid, I that,
I don't know if I believe that one today.
No, I was just a little kid. Like I was like, no. He's like, yeah.
I used to hold on like a water skiing rope.
They just tie me to it, and I just take pictures as they fly around. That's a true story.
Maybe in the Wright brother days.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
photographers hanging on the fucking wing.
Yeah, see, that's insane. That's why, like, why do we want another war? People aren't going to really go in with guns. Wars are fought on Facebook these days.
Yeah, we have drones and stuff now.
Like, you get fucking taken out of your house in the middle of the night. You don't get fucking sieged. Like they were saying Ottawa was getting under siege. Like get out of here.
State of emergency. It's like, you won't even go out and talk to them. It's like, no wonder they haven't left.
It's sad. But I mean, that could happen on the drop of a dime tomorrow.
What, Justin Trudeau going to talk to them?
No, World War III.
Oh, yep, that too. Yep.
It's scary. It's sad, and the weirdest part is like we can't. There's no more such thing as drafting. We can't just join the military and be like, "Give me a gun," kind of thing. Like, no, those days have came and gone.
There's more of a chance for World War III tomorrow than there is of Justin Trudeau addressing the truckers and like going out there and talking to them, meeting with them.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. If you guys don't know what the World Economic Forum is, you should look into that because it's so transparent. I mean, this lady that Justin Trudeau appointed as the deputy prime minister kind of thing that keeps telling you like we are exercising these powers kind of thing. Look it up. She's on the World Economic Forum like website as just a member of this stuff. By 2030 they want you to own nothing and be happy about it.
I saw a news article about that.
Yeah, if you haven't heard of this before, you need to look into this because it's very transparent. The second that Trudeau gets one-upped in a debate, marches out of there, and you think like, oh, he just got embarrassed. No, he needs to go get new orders. He needs to go get refreshed on how do I deal with this. I don't want to step out of line and get my funding taken away from me. Yeah, Klaus.
Like, just tell them you're going to focus on giving people vaccines.
Klaus Schwab. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He wrote a book about this. I forget what it's called, but I'm sure you could Google that one too. Explaining that he wants like a new world order, and he's got all these world economic leaders on his side, kind of thing. And by 2030, they want you to own nothing and be happy about it.
I believe it, man.
And do you think that they're going to own nothing? No, they're going to have all the money in the world. When a house costs $3 million, when a normal house like this costs $3 million to own, they're the ones who are going to own it. They're the ones who are going to be renting it to guys like us.
And it's going to cost more than it did today.
The cost, who knows what the cost is going to be, right? Because the cost is going to be relative to inflation and all that. But
well, with all the inflation going on,
the fact is you're not going to be able to own your own house. You're not going to be able to own your own car. There's going to be there already is barely no such thing as living off of the grid. But as far as you're concerned, you are the peasant of old England in the feudalist society, and they're the kings.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? Yeah.
Justin Trudeau couldn't have been more clear about that.
And it's so hard to back him. It's so like anyone that's sympathetic of these police officers right now, give your head a shake. Like, who the fuck is ever going to look these guys in the eyes and have them over for dinner anymore? Like, and that they're the police officer. They're not going to change their jobs. They're doing this because they don't want to lose their pension. That's number one.
Pension's a big thing.
90, I don't know about the percentages, but you can assume that 70-80% of them don't want to do this, but they're being forced into doing it, or else they lose their job, they lose their seniority, they lose their pension. Yep. Then there's 20 to 10% that are just hotheads that are like, hey, I've never had this power before. That are like, oh, I can kick a guy when he's down and not get fucking sued for it. Like
in that video, those police go by on the horses, trample the lady and the other guy, and then the camera points up to like the police officers, and they're just like pushing. They're like, "Get the fuck back!" And like the one guy just looks like so unfazed by everything. It's like he's just his face is literally just
exactly
like he doesn't look mad.
And how could
he doesn't look like?
How could you look at yourself in the mirror? Like I saw this one cop full on like buddy was down and he's like feeding him knees and stuff. Like any other time you lose your job, you're ousted, you're doxxed, you're sued. Right now in the state of emergency, which is like been a conspiracy for 20 years now. We thought martial law was coming to America in 2005. Like we thought that George Bush wanted to like what 9/11 was an inside job, and this is all so that we can get martial law kind of thing, and so that FEMA camps are going to put us in those fucking bins, right? You remember? Everyone's seen those zeitgeists. That the
FEMA camps.
We were
Jesse Ventura.
We were just 20 years too early, and with the wrong country. That's all.
Yeah, the fact that we beat the states to this state
It's scary. It's sad. It's fucking. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, we got to get some tinfoil hats for a podcast.
Just
fucking every time we play that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Some props in this house.
There's a lot of weird little things to go off on.
The thing is, this room is just so crowded. I don't know.
It's so hot too. I'm losing my cool here. So I had to take the hoodie off.
Oh shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. If you're just getting in now, I'm Alex and this is Jer. Woo! For Alex and Jer. Woo!
We got 5 more likes.
We did? Oh, hell yeah.
That's why I told the alien story like half an hour ago.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just two shithead Canadian carpenters on a journey for education. You know?
Trying to seek the truth and
clearly
discuss what we know. In
yeah.
the meantime.
And I mean, you know, if you guys knew more than us, you'd have a podcast too, wouldn't you? Eh? So clearly you're listening to us to learn.
You're here to learn from us, so just taking everything.
Yeah. But I mean,
that's silly.
Just bringing our experience to you. It's sad. It's really sad. We thought that we could just, you know, live our lives as carpenters, fucking work our way towards retirement. We both like to do like martial arts. Like Jer's dad runs a judo club. He's done judo for fucking 30 years or something like that. Yeah, Jer grew up. His whole family did judo.
It's true, except my mom. Well, the rest of us were
right. So we thought, like, you know, fly under the radar, drink your beers on the weekend, kind of thing, and everything's all good. Now it's like a big quote that I've heard over and over again in the last few years. If you don't get involved in politics, politics gets involved in you.
Yeah. Oh, that's just it. Oh, and you have no say in anything. Like,
and you won't know what to say in anything.
If you don't get involved in politics, then everything moves on without you, and you have no say in anything.
No, it comes to your front door, and it's going to make you involved in the politics, whether you like it or not. And you better have flexed that muscle a few times, or else you're going to be a kindergartner in a university.
Absolutely. There's a lot to learn too. People hear certain words and they don't know what they mean, and like you know, there's a lot of random words you never heard before when you get into politics. Like,
when you just start watching these guys talk, it's like that probably keeps a lot of people out of the front door.
Watching the House of Commons
and just not knowing the terminology.
Absolutely. You see this shit going on, and it's like, what is going on here? They're yelling at Mr. Speaker.
Yeah. In Canada, that's not a thing in America.
I know.
That's only in Canada. People are allowed to heckle, like, here.
Oh,
go
Mr.
fuck
Speaker's
yourself.
Like, chill, guys. We want
chill.
Don't you want to hear the answer? It actually on that last, he's like, calm down, and you hear someone in the crowd, calm down. One MP's like, fuck you.
It's like what you imagine, like the 1800s,
yeah. Dude, they were asking
down
Justin
at the mayor's
Trudeau
office
to apologize for that shit, and then he kept rambling on about
and he just
other
walked
shit.
The fuck out of there.
And then at one point he does just walk.
He gets up and leaves like a little kid taking his ball and going home.
What happens is people ask him a question, and his answer has nothing to do with the question. So everyone, as soon as he starts talking about like the truckers,
they want to ask again.
Like it's like no one asked you about the truckers. They asked you to apologize for what you said. And he starts going off about something else. So they're all just vaccinated. Like, whoa, like the whole building's yelling at him.
He's like, saying we all need to step up and like for each other. And it's like, hey, motherfucker, like I haven't got a paycheck in 3 weeks. I'm stepping up for everyone here. Like, yeah, they're telling you to go home and go to work. Like, you took my job from me, you asshole. Like, I'm not allowed.
Yeah, this is fucked up.
It's a little silly, and the world is laughing at us. Not that they haven't already laughed at us.
Yeah. JP Sears he's got nothing short of stuff to make videos about.
And I used to think Tucker Carlson was a fucking joke. Now he's the goddamn messiah.
Dude, now he's like one of the few people actually reporting on this like the right way.
Now he's my hero. Like I want a fucking Tucker Carlson poster up on my goddamn wall.
And like, dude, he's so unprofessional, just like most people from Fox. But lately, he's just been like,
he's not unprofessional. He's just a professional troll.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right, it's usually been satire, and he's obviously like kind of poked the flames. But now he's got so much to work with, and he's got so many actual points to work off of.
Oh yeah.
That it's like, hey, like this is the only guy saying these things.
He's like Davey had something on the other night, some news stuff. They're talking about the truckers. We see this stuff all the time. And it was just so boring. It was like half an hour long. And I was like, I don't want to watch this. And the next video was like a 12-minute video of Tucker talking about the same thing. And I'm like, that's better. And it's just, it's entertaining. And you know what? If he does, excuse me, if he does spew a little bullshit, it's like, I can pick it up and filter it out. But at least it's entertaining to watch. And like,
his listening face like, he's like so concerned. He's like, am I listening to a dumbass right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to, like, when the Trump campaign was gearing up in 2019.
He was going hard back then.
And I looked at it like it was a satire thing, and I was like, hey, I'm junking my brain by watching this because it's not really in reality. Yeah. But now you look at it and it's like, hey, he's the only one saying what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you actually look at the difference between like Fox and CNN, like Fox is like less professional, but they talk about the important issues that mainstream media ignores. And they seem to be more for the people in the big picture of things, as silly as they are.
Yeah.
But what they have in common is they both stir shit up. Now CNN though, they have the whole like, oh, we're professional and we don't lie, and this is why you should think this way about this, and they try to sway your thought. And I'm not saying Fox doesn't do that either, but they both have their agenda. They're both on separate sides of it.
It used to be so much more transparent, and now it's like when Bill Maher and Tucker Carlson agree on things, you need to fucking open your eyes. Like,
yeah, when Bill Maher, the leftist, starts
saying the exact same thing that Tucker Carlson said. Like neither of them are lying anymore. Like absolutely. this is the comedy has hit reality. And
Bill Maher has actually been worth listening to lately. He's had a lot of very interesting things to say.
Yeah.
And he's someone who thinks everybody should be vaccinated, but he also doesn't support like the mandates, from my understanding. Tucker, he can't cuck the tuck.
Yeah. There we go.
Hell yeah. Tucker's dope, man. You can't beat him.
No, you can't debate him. You can't make him back down.
Even
kind
if he's
of thing.
Wrong, he'll make you look dumb.
And he's got that formula of talking to where it's like you can't fight him. No, like especially if you're on his show. Like if you're on your own show and going, oh, he's an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And he'll it's almost like Obama used to talk. Like he would do half a sentence and then we come back with the other half of the sentence. Kind of, and it's very hard to think a different way, because you're like, oh, that's right. I can agree with that half a sentence he said there.
Did you ever see when Bill Nye was on Tucker talking about global warming?
No.
Bill Nye would go to say stuff, and Tucker's like, oh, so are these things actually proven? And he's like, well, Tucker, and he's like, oh, so no, okay, cool, that's what I thought. Like just cutting Bill Nye out, just being like, no, fuck you, like you're just a popularist.
He's an engineer.
Are you an actual oh,
he's not a doctor. He's an engineer.
Dude, he made him look fucking, and
he made a career out of calling himself a science
Bill
guy.
Nye, that's like a nostalgic piece of my childhood that got destroyed around that time, because I found out he is just a popularist, and he was never an actual science guy.
Never an actual science guy. But he was a prominent figure, and he got a lot of people into science.
And then I found out Mr. Dress Up doesn't actually
he doesn't actually dress up.
Doesn't actually dress up. Fucking asshole. Yeah, Mr. Rogers doesn't want me to be his neighbor.
Yeah, doesn't live anywhere near me. Fucking asshole. That one pissed me off.
Right off. Care Bears don't actually care.
Bunch of dads on Facebook.
Yeah, that was a good one. I'm hungry, Dad. Hi, hungry. I'm Dad.
Hey, I'm Dad.
I do that to Oz at work. He's like, Jer, I'm hungry. I'm like, hi, hungry. I'm Jer.
And he just knee slaps.
No, he's like, you're a fucking idiot.
I'm really hungry.
I'm dumb.
I have not eaten in 5 hours.
Yeah, it's all about work. We just live off work.
Yeah.
Just tile our hearts out.
Yeah. Yeah, we were doing work today.
We were. Alex.
The client comes by. This is like such a typical client move. They always, oh, it looks great, and then they're like, they gotta like reinforce that, like, oh, I'm glad I made this decision. You know, it really matches the blah blah blah. Like every client does that.
Yeah.
Where do you think they're gonna go? Oh fuck. Why did I go with it? Like, shit, tear it up. Yeah, I don't like this shit.
Looks good from my house.
Right. It could literally be shit on the floor, and they're like, oh, you know, it's better than fucking diarrhea, or better than puke.
Dude, her stairs are like this. It's like a U-shaped tread.
The middle of the tread is bowing hard.
She's like, they look great. There's like gaps like this in the middle that like we can't help.
Her whole house is from the 50s, and it's bowing. It's like it got fucking flooded on the inside or something. But
anyone who actually opened their eyes and looked at the stairs would be like, what are you gonna do about that gap?
Yeah.
She was like, it looks, you know, see that clip of Hillary Clinton when she's
yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly, I should say allegedly we were doing that.
Allegedly, yeah. No, Alex is helping me for free.
Allegedly.
He was helping me for free today.
But basically, yeah, the client, no matter what job you're at, the client comes by and they got to pat themselves on the back
for making the decision.
Yeah, they go, oh, you know, it took me 3 nights and 4 bottles of whiskey to make the decision on this color of the flooring or something. But I'm really glad I did it. You know, a lot of other floorings, they'll fucking shine you in the eyes, and you're like, oh, I don't like that. But
this is a lady who's fucked up everything else about the job, so she's just happy something worked out at this point.
Oh, this is great. This is great color. Yeah. You mean like the rest of the fucking house is? Yeah, but it doesn't matter what job you're on. Every client needs to pat themselves on the back.
It's true.
Otherwise, they're like wringing their neck, like, how much is this gonna cost, kind of thing. And because I don't own a business, I don't give 2 fucking shits. I'm like, bitch, you called us.
Yeah.
Like, I show up and I put the flooring down. You don't like it, you fucking go off down the road, kind of thing. Yeah.
Even for me, like all last week, nothing was ready, and every time I'm going there, she's like, well, should I do this? Should I do that? What should I do? And I'm like after a few days, I'm like, hey, look, like I've been here every day this week for like an hour or 2, and I haven't done any work. I've just helped you. I'm like, I'm trying to help you as much as I can. And she's asking me, can you show up and meet the plumber and tell him this and that? And I'm just like, I've spent 6 or 7 hours here this week that I don't get paid for, and I'm just trying to help you out. Like, and she's like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, I'll just get him to call you. And it's like, yeah, even that, like, you know, it's like, I don't get paid to fucking help you sort your shit out. Like, see, I'm doing that out of the goodness of my heart.
I work by the hour, so I'll just grab a pen and paper and be like, oh, you don't like this? Oh, let me take a note of that, and I'll call my boss and tell her, oh, she didn't like this.
But I can't work unless it gets figured out too. So
right.
I'm like, well, I need to help this lady figure shit out. Otherwise, I don't get to work. Right. So it does benefit me. But after like 7 hours of fucking doing nothing, through over a few days, it's like, okay, well, you know, maybe I don't need to do this job anymore.
I've spent like over an hour going through a house with a customer who like was telling me about like electrical problems. And I'm like, oh, I'll write that right down. I'm a carpenter. I'm a carpenter getting paid by the like, you're paying me right now to write this down on a piece of paper. Like, I could be working right now, but I'll make sure to tell my carpenter boss about the electrical problems.
If you're a customer, stop being so fucking stupid.
Well, it's just they're like, oh, what am I paying for? Oh, someone's got to hear my problem really quick. And it's like, not me, not the guy swinging a hammer.
That's
like,
how I felt.
Yeah. Not either. She's like, oh, this got wired wrong. And I was like, motherfucker, the drywall's up. Like, you should have said this months ago.
This chick's like, oh, like, why is the drywall wrong? I'm like, because he did it like this and this. She's like, well, can I get him back here? And you tell, it's like, how about you just hire someone that knows what they're doing?
Yeah, let's see.
Then I don't have to fucking guide the drywaller. Like, that's something else. Yeah. I'm the tile guy. Like, and why do I have to know how all the other trades work?
Hire someone worth their salt. Like, you want to go for the cheapest drywaller, they're going to show up stoned, hungover, and slap it together and act like they're God's gift and charge you 10 grand. And just because they can, because no one else wants to do the drywall. It's not that we can't. No one else wants to. Yeah. And guess why? Because if the drywall goes wrong, the worst thing that happens is a crack in your wall. If my job goes wrong, your house falls on your fucking head. Right? If an electrician's job goes wrong, your house burns.
Yep.
The drywaller doesn't give a fuck. He can come back and fix his fuck up 5 times and get paid for each fucking time. Like,
same with the tile setter.
There you go, right? That's why
unless it's a heated floor or something. Right?
Yeah, that'd be a bitch. But
Trick
yeah,
about doing tiles, just don't fuck up.
That's why the carpenters and the electricians give more of a fuck, because hey, people can die if we fuck up. There's literal codes that we have to follow. The drywallers show up and be, oh, these fucking framers don't know what the fuck they're doing. I framed a house once and we did it right.
And if you're just showing up, just tuning in, this is the ranting part of the show.
Hey, motherfuckers, welcome
before the end of the show and telling you what we don't like. Shit, that's so funny. So now you guys know what we don't like.
That's that shit I don't. That should be the name of the podcast. That shit I don't like.
That should be a segment of the show.
Yeah.
That right before the end. That's that shit I don't like.
That should be
I don't like it when people playing on my phone.
Some graphics, or we just like draw a picture and like that's that shit I don't like.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, man, we're 10 minutes away from the 2-hour mark. We what time is it?
That was a decent one,
dude. 2 hours kind of flew by.
When I'm sitting around like studying podcast formats on YouTube, people are like, "Oh, you gotta write everything out because it could go horribly wrong." I'm like, motherfucker, like if I try to read off a script, it's gonna go horribly wrong.
Yeah, I'll never write a script or anything like that because I also don't want to do that.
Plus, your eyes are on the paper. Like,
just read off a script. No. I like to write notes and talking points, so that way it's as simple as looking at it and being then. Yeah. Oh, I just ask you about it, right?
And see, that's why I like the idea. If we could keep
gonna
callers in a queue with a question, and that's a talking point.
Yeah,
they come on, they tell us their experience, they ask a question, we explain like obviously who the fuck are we other than a couple of carpenters that like to drink beer and fucking.
But we're teaching them all the secrets to the podcast. They're gonna start their own podcast now and stop watching us.
Welcome to us. No, well, hey, if you thought you had something to teach us, you'd have your own podcast. That's why you're listening to us here at the.
But yeah, no, it's been a good 2 hours, and I don't know. Is there anything you want to go over still, or
I think that's good, honestly. If we just want to stretch it out for 2 hours, we'll be jerking our own dicks, kind of thing.
Let's get some outro music set up here. We'll have a song to play. You guys can post your comments, your.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for listening to us. I think the synopsis of this is: look out for yourself. Ingest a little bit of everything. If you don't want to look at the news, you're burying your fucking head in the sand. Yeah, maybe it makes you sad, but guess what? So does this. So does life, kind of thing. And if you don't get involved in politics, politics are going to get involved with you.
Absolutely.
Sooner than you hope to be true. All right. My family thought they were running away from America to get away from politics. And look what the fuck happened now. It only took 2 generations and I'm fucked. And I need to get back to America.
It doesn't matter how small or petty it might seem when the government oversteps their fucking boundaries. Like,
yeah,
that's when we got to fucking start fighting back.
And
at least a little bit.
They're gonna do it. They've been doing it. You know, since the times of William Wallace, they've been doing it, and they'll push as far as they can until they get some pushback, and then they'll stop until the next not even the next generation, but until people put their guard down. Absolutely. Then they're going to keep encroaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same with me. And then they're going to keep encroaching. They're going to push as far as they can until people say, no, you stop. And they'll go, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, it's going to keep going. It's been the story for as long as time has been told. And we think that we're freer because we have a couple more rights than we did, 100 years ago. That's great. You thought that cryptocurrency was the fucking uncensorable currency? Well, look at that. Crypto wallets are being frozen too.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
There's 36 crypto wallets in Canada that got frozen, apparently.
I don't know how they can do that, though.
Bitcoin is the biggest one.
That's crazy, though, because, like, man, you can't. They couldn't freeze your wallet if you have your own personal digital wallet.
They have their own personal hackers.
Well, no, it must be on. Well, it's either that or it's on an exchange that's working with the government to just like GoFundMe work with the government, and then And
the
then,
GoFundMe works with the government. That Give Send Go got
yeah.
fully hacked, and there's people that got doxxed, and they have to shut their businesses down because they're getting Antifa riots like out front of their door because they got actually doxxed.
As far as cryptocurrency goes, though, just so you guys know, they can't just freeze your wallet. It's because someone had a wallet, not a personal wallet with their shit in it. They had it on an exchange, not just an exchange, like probably BitBuy, like the big Canadian exchange. So the government can actually talk to them and be like, hey, we need to freeze these wallets. And just like GoFundMe, they were like, yes, sir.
Right. And again,
so that's probably what happened.
And we're saying probably. So
they can't control
do
crypto.
your own research. They can't control crypto, but they have controlled Bitcoin. They have Bitcoin wallets frozen.
They don't have all Bitcoin.
Not everyone. Frozen. They have 36 out of 5 million or something, right?
But like, only because they're on a certain exchange that someone in Canada owns that has access to. If you don't have the keys to the wallet, you can't stop a wallet. The exchange owns the wallet that these people are using. That's why they can do it.
Okay, yeah.
If I have a wallet, like my own,
and that's one we should research and come back to the table.
Oh, and I've already researched this.
But we should actually like come with those specific wallets that got frozen and
learn about what actually happened.
Yeah. So that we can tell these people and they can actually take our word for it rather than say probably here. Maybe sell your house and buy Bitcoin. It might not go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
But anyways, I am Alex and this is Jared. This has been the Crowded Room podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. We love you to the end of the world and back. We've got a little bit of outro music for you here.
And if you want to find it, it's on YouTube and Spotify, Switchblade Union, Switchblade Serenade. Here we go. It's been great talking with you guys.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Peace out. Switchblade to a single in the midnight. Think twice about the motherfucking quick knife. Switchblade suicide with the wrist slice. Closed eyes won't rise when the sun's bright. Switchblade serenaded in the moonlight. Hop into the fucking sky cause the moon bright. They say when the stars in my eyes where to go, running high to be known, when alive when the union arises. Streetlight shining, my time's arriving. Out when it's dark cause we been that vibing. Been that driving, cruising by flying. Living so fast, never think about dying. Pulls up in the dark and we hang out with the Batman. Scars on my knuckles cause we fucking with the wolf gang. Switchblade shining, that bright whining. Stars in my eyes when the moonlight shines in. Murder rap all first track, killing shit cause I've been begging. Suicide on the second, I don't care, just accept it. Knife swipe and get doomed. Switchblade coming soon. Chills on your spine when we hide up to the fucking moon. Still shut bright fast spot. Make it I swat, shut down slice with the right swat. Blood on my fist, knife dance on my wrist. Moonshine off the blade, just cruising through the mist. Middle of the midnight. Think twice about the motherfucking quick knife. Switchblade suicide with the wrist slice. Closed eyes won't rise when the sun's bright. Switchblade serenaded in the moonlight. Hop into the fucking sky cause the moon bright. They say when the stars in my eyes where to go, running high to be known, when alive when the union arises. Middle of the midnight. Think twice about the motherfucking quick knife. Switchblade suicide with the wrist slice. Closed eyes won't rise when the sun's bright. Switchblade serenading in the moonlight. Hop into the fucking sky cause the moon bright. They say when the stars in my eyes where to go, running high to be known, when alive when the union arises. Middle of the midnight. Think twice about the motherfucking quick knife. Switchblade suicide with the wrist slice. Closed eyes won't rise when the sun's bright. Switchblade serenaded in the moonlight. Hop into the fucking sky cause the moon bright. They say when the stars in my eyes where to go, running high to be known, when alive when the union arises.